time to spend time in the shadow, to dedicate time to feeling what it's like to be in the dark. We have the Two of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. And why I say prioritizing the darkness is important is because that's where all the noise is. Human suffering comes from too much thinking. And do you see how much thinking is going on here? In fact, it's a 9, and 9's being related to completion. It's like, that's just it. That's just the way things are. Meanwhile, here you are in broad daylight trying to find a different way to experience life. You're trying to juggle different things. You're trying to reprioritize. You're trying to maintain balance with all of these changes, these feelings that are coming up, these emotional shifts that are begging for your attention. For enough of you, this is saying, stop hiding from yourself, and you'll stop hiding from others. Ask yourself more questions. Ask yourself the hard questions. What am I really trying to feel? Because that's what the whole point of experience is. We want to feel something. What are we trying to feel? Stable? Well, then we have thoughts that are paired with instability, and they've been winning for a while. But we also know change is inevitable. So how can we participate in change? Well, plenty of change happens when we're not looking. So why don't we go into those spaces where there's less visibility and just be there for a while? For some of you, that looks like meditating a little bit, maybe before you go to bed or before you get up to start the day. Others of you, it looks like crying. Just sit down and cry. Let it out. Others, I'm asking questions, but maybe this is about visibility and allowing others to see that I'm in pain. That may look like finally making that appointment with the doctor or the healthcare provider, returning to talk therapy, expressing that you have too much on your plate, expressing that you feel overwhelmed, expressing that you want to feel something else. Maybe you just want to feel at all. You want to be a part of your own experience. You don't want to be a passenger. You want to create, not just consume all the time. And look what's consuming. All that thinking is the cause of a lot of our issues. But if we can learn to make time to be where those thoughts are, to be with those sensations that are attached to those thoughts, and to allow ourselves to be a human and experience the feelings, experience where we are at in that present moment. That is stability. That is being. For enough of this is enough of us. This is also remembering that change is always going to happen. If you desire stability, it's because it's possible. But we do need to participate. We need to go here. We need to spend time with this to understand or even hear the restlessness, to acknowledge the pain. This overwhelming pattern from the Nine of Swords It is an incredible teacher right now. This pain that's showing up, in addition to whatever prescriptions some of you are engaged in right now, this is saying, go a little bit deeper. Allow yourself to make space to ask a simpler question. Because we can say here during the day, and we're trying to look for different ways to stay stabilized, heal, find a technique that works for us in this season of life. We're trying to simplify our way of living and experience, yet the thoughts are real complicated, aren't they? Someone once told me, it's fun complicating things. And that would make sense for a problem solver who is perpetually fighting with anxiety. A problem solver who doesn't really know what problem they are solving, but they do know they can solve problems. And with that type of narrative, they would have to experience people coming to them, receiving the prompts, being told what to do all the time. For enough of you, this is the fear of consulting yourself and directing yourself. I feel like I'm active. I feel like I'm here. I mean, see what's going on emotionally. But I feel like I'm active. I feel like I'm here because I've been given this task and I've given this task. But when I don't have this to focus on, I'm left with my thoughts. I'm left with those insecurities. I'm left with those conditions that say I'm not doing enough. You sure? You sure you're not doing enough? It can be challenging to want to be of service, but then not recognize we don't want to give either. That's the illusion. That's kind of the trick when it comes to the mental chatter. You're still trying to figure out what you want to give. You don't know, and that's okay. Because now it's time to make space to figure out what it is that we want to give right now. Because caring for others, being of service, I feel has been quite stressful for enough of you. It's been so stressful that it leaves you with all of your own problems to solve by yourself. And if we keep going, that's part of the issue, is that we're so wired to keep showing up, reacting, receive a prompt, be told what to do, that it's really, really scary to live a different way, to feel something different, to experience change. Very loudly, okay, this just came in. It says, I'm scared of not knowing what to do. I'm scared of not knowing what to do. Because when I didn't know what to do, this happened. When I didn't know what to do, I received this judgment. There was a lack of mercy where I thought there would be. And we may have been trying to find the answers and solve problems since we were very young. So many of these heavy feelings have been weighing on us since our earliest memories. This is the dance of life that we've been engaged in for far too long. And what I like about the Nine of Swords is that there is a recognition of that. That 9 there, being of completion, also says enough. So another way to look at these cards is that you've had enough of this cycle. You've had enough of ignoring what's coming up within. You've had enough of the mental chatter. You've had enough of not feeling good enough. You've had enough of constantly trying to solve problems, which means you're constantly doing this, constantly focusing on problems. And to think about it, so many of you have been on a healing journey. You've been trying to solve the problem of yourself, therefore perpetually calling yourself a problem. This is about rest. Rest your mind. Do not be afraid to direct yourself, to command your experience. Don't be afraid of the power that is actually within you. Don't be afraid of self-consultation. Don't be afraid of what can be lost when you decide to gain a little bit more of yourself by way of asking, what's going on with me? Be it internally and or asking for another to look at you, to critique you in your human experience. It is inevitable that we will spend time by ourselves, spend time alone. It is inevitable that sometimes we will experience having life pack on all this stuff, and then we're alone with our thoughts and we don't really like what we're hearing. That's okay. It's the point. You're always in charge. You get to dictate your experience now. You get to create a new cycle. This is the number 8, but it also appears here. And so for us to be in a space where we are trying to, let me pull this back up, generate greater understanding of what is going on inside, or why the mental chatter even exists, there must be safety in resignation. You see, this is the chariot. This is a vessel that is meant to transport, but are they moving? Be still is the solution. Be still. Be brave. This is not scary. It's just a part of you. You are not broken. You're not broken. You just want to feel something else. There's that Cancerian energy, that cardinal. I get it started. I can do this. I'm the initiator of change in my life. I start new cycles. The season begins with me. What I say goes. And anything that opposes that, it's allowed to be there. But I still decide how I want to feel. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit my time and energy to what allows me to feel good. What I know produces results for me. This has not been producing results. In fact, we may have been trying to throw the spaghetti on the wall. Let me try this, let me try this. Maybe this is also indicative of incomplete projects. The fear of committing to ourselves. The fear of committing to a path, but you don't have to be afraid, because if change is inevitable, you are always allowed to shift your path when you are ready. This is for now. So our story to permanence, our story to that's it, it's done, it can change now. And what I like about this 2 of Pentacles and the 9 of Swords, as I'm wrapping this up here, is that the phrase, it is done, is going to feel different to somebody who struggles with giving, as opposed to somebody who knows their ability to replenish is their superpower. And you replenish by way of being still, so that you can actually allow what you were trying to generate to manifest itself. So I want to go back to that final thought around perspective in how, if I said your happiness is done, how that would read to somebody who's living a more fearful life versus somebody who is open to change. Your happiness is done can sound like there's no more happiness for me because I live from lack. Or your happiness is done. And it's like, hands off. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed for me. And I'm going to allow myself to just focus on what I know currently brings me happiness so that I am still a magnet, so I can continue to attract experiences per my new perspective of things that will continue to make me happy and enhance my life and my experience. So for enough of us, this is the story of give and take, still feeling like a struggle, of still feeling like we owe, and that's attached to that story of lack. I owe someone, I owe something, I owe. I won't be surprised if any of you are in debt. If we are afraid to give, it's because we don't believe in our power to restore. Yet, yes, we can. You can do it. Take time. Be okay with asking yourself new questions. Be okay with becoming the person who chose themselves. Be okay with the person who knows their feelings. Be okay with the person who has thoughts like this. Be okay with being stuck so that you can hear what is contributing to that. Give to you so you're not afraid to give to the world. When you give to yourself, you're going to feel like your interactions and opportunities are more authentic. Because when you're listening to you, so is the external. And you will understand more of what is happening out here, what's responding to you. As you go within, ask different questions, and hear the response, or allow the experience of the response to show through the best way it can for you where you're at right now. I know you want to be able to give, but you got to give to yourself. If that looks like engaging in solitude for a while, so be it. If that looks like choosing a new healthcare provider, then so be it. If that looks like asking new questions, be brave enough to do it, okay? So I'm going to end the reading here. I thank you so much for joining me. I intend that you felt encouraged to engage in a new action plan today. I intend that you understand the importance of acknowledging your thoughts, but not minding them so much. I intend that you give yourself a little bit more love today. That you affirm something sweet and kind and wholesome as you engage with yourself, as you hear your thoughts, as you take that pause and consult and commune with the shadow side. That is just as important as the light. We just gotta spend a little bit more time in the light to balance this out. You see? So thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me to be a messenger. My name is Mayan, and if you want a personal reading from me, the information is in the bio. Regardless, do your best to keep the faith. I'm very, very thankful for you listening to me, for you hearing me, and I love you very much. So until next time.